on request from Dungeons & Chronics, Dungeons & Chronics would like me to review the new starter box set by Wizards of the Coast. Now, I have an issue with Wizards of the Coast because they've been dicks recently. Let's get real. But this thing here is actually pretty good. I would say it doesn't have as much stuff as the Pathfinder starter box set, and it has pretty much the same sort of stuff in here as, would you believe it, the original one, which seems strange. You would have thought you would up your ante. It's got the Dungeons & Dragons cartoon images everywhere, but nowhere is there anything related to the adventure or the character sheet in here. And it has an adventure, right? So you get dice, you get pre-made characters, you get the rule set, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing else. And of course, there's an adventure, and that adventure is this one, which is called Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. And I made a lot of videos, like a shitload of videos on the Lost Mine of Phandelver and live streams explaining how to run it. I have run this adventure for my home group people. It's already been done. And I can assure you, there's really nothing you need to do to this thing. It's perfectly fine as it is. Is there anything in here that I would potentially change because I didn't like the way they'd laid things out? I looked at this and I decided that as a YouTuber who's supposed to help you, it would just be a cash grab and also a lot of bullshit on my part to actually tell you that there was something that really needed to be fixed in here. Because really, most of it doesn't need to be fixed. It's perfectly fine. Would I say it's better than Lost Mine of Phandelver? It's better for a beginner dungeon master. It is not so great if you're experienced because it won't give you enough. And it's very short. It only goes from level 1 to 3. That's it. You're done. Okay? So I have notes in here that I wrote down in terms of what I should do. And most of my notes are referring to where do I go next. And I can tell you now, the only important NPCs in here are Runar, okay, Myla, and the kobolds, and a couple of humans. And most of the other NPCs you're going to be fine with, right? You want to make up a couple of book names that they can find or interact with in here because there aren't any book names. That's it. And I put down a couple of names here, which I'm not going to bother going over. Do not have Runar, that sodding dragon, show up and save the players. It will piss them off no end. I'm doing a lot of swearing today, by the way, if you hadn't figured it out. Do not do that. Okay, it sucks. It's worse. I mean, it's worse, I suppose you might say, if they die. No, it's not. It's worse if you feel like you can't possibly go wrong because somebody will save you, always. All right? Do not have myconids attacking the party. You want them to communicate. They are sick. They need help. All right? It's like that. It's really simple. The rest of it is perfectly fine. There's really nothing in here. Can I just say that the last thing, do not do what this adventure said. Do not have your dragon sleeping. Okay? Dragon asleep, bad idea. Don't do that. If you wanted any advice, that is the extent of the advice you need for the Dungeons & Dragons starter set, Dragon of Stormwreck Isle. It's mostly fine. There's really nothing to it. You'll be fine. You don't need my help. And frankly, anybody who's selling you this is pulling your leg.